Herzlich willkommen, schön, dass du da bist bei der nächsten Folge von Inspiration TV. Mein Name ist Julia Schmitz und ich bin Moderatorin und Inspirationscoach und ich möchte mit diesem Format wirklich Menschen eine Stimme geben, die einen inspirierenden Lebenslauf haben, die mich inspiriert haben, als ich sie getroffen habe und die tolle Produkte oder Seminare geben und ja, was Unglaubliches geschaffen haben und die auch dich inspirieren können, dein Leben so zu gestalten, wie du es dir wünschst. Und ich bin viel gereist in den letzten Jahren. Einige von euch wissen es, ich bin wirklich ein Weltenbummler. Ich war in den letzten 10, 12 Jahren bestimmt in über 60 Ländern unterwegs. Und mehrere Male war ich an meinem Lieblingsort in Kapstadt. Und da habe ich Bridget Knight kennengelernt. Sie ist heute mein Business-Mentor und auch eine liebe Freundin geworden. Und sie hat ein Unternehmen, das nennt sich Shift One Degree. Und das bedeutet, 1 Grad dein Leben zu ändern, damit du deinen Kurs so änderst, dass das Schiff dahin segelt, wo du wirklich Lust drauf hast. Dass du dein Leben so lebst, wie es dir Spaß macht und dass du einen echt erfüllten Job hast, der dich glücklich macht. Und ich bin unheimlich glücklich, dass sie heute Zeit hat und ich sage, welcome to the show, Bridget Knight. Just tell us who you are, what you do. Who is Bridget Knight?
So I am a personal development coach. So what that means is I work with people who want to first develop themselves before they want to develop their business. And I do this through various ways. I run workshops, I do coaching. I'm part of an organization called Say Yes. So I do mentoring for the underserved. And I get involved in I get involved in like a transition role within Say Yes, which means I put mentors and mentees together. Basically, you're taking people who are choosing to volunteer and work with the underserved who live in the townships and mentor them for 9 months. Because for me, that's part of personal development. So the personal development space that I work in is quite vast. It's vast from the sense of from a coaching side to a workshop side, just in a space of somebody going, you know what? Something's not sitting nicely with me and I'm feeling like I need some kind of change, but I don't know what that is.
That's how we met. That's how we met in 2018. I was in a stage to become someone else or the person I always wanted to be after traveling a long time. And I'm so grateful that our ways crossed in Capetown. But how was your inner journey to come to that point? What did you do before in your life? And when was that little point where you said, yes, I'm following this inner voice? Because so many people don't hear this inner voice.
No, they don't. That's true. So my journey started in the health and fitness industry purely because I love that lifestyle. I love health. I love fitness. So it made sense. I was in health and fitness. And I was in it for about 10 years. And then I got to a point where I thought, oh, I'm so over this. I was just so bored. But it's quite a dead-end industry. And because when you're in fitness, it's not like if you're in marketing, you could branch into something else. If you're in PR, you could branch into something else. But in fitness, it's very specific. You can't really branch off into something else. Outside of fitness is what I mean. So it's quite limiting. So through that, I left fitness. I got involved at an organization called BNI, which is Business Networking International. Because I got a venue hire, so I started attending the meetings at BNI. Then I got very involved with BNI. I became one of their director consultants. Through that, I met my ex-business partner, and we were we were partners in a company called Incentive, where we were working with people to develop themselves in order to develop their business by growing their network. We did that her and I did that together for a few years. And literally it was on that whole journey, I looked at the whole thing and I thought, okay, none of it resonated. Like it was all fine for a time, but none of it like fully resonated. And then I thought it was the beginning of 2019. I thought, no, there's something, if I take my whole journey that I've done and I take everything that I've experienced, all of that boils down to if you know yourself and you know what you want and you understand yourself, everything else is so easy. But the biggest complication is understanding ourselves. Like that is so hard. It really is. And it's not an easy answer. Like you sit in a space of going, well, I'm in a job or I'm living in a country or whatever I'm doing. You're thinking it's not working. But you have to realize it starts with you. You have to change things, but you don't always know what to change. So yeah, a lot of my journey has been personal development with myself. And so that's how I got in personal development. And now I do weekly podcasts around personal development. I do a newsletter. I do blogging. I think it's also sitting in the discomfort of being uncomfortable, because it's so much easier just to stay in a position stuck where you are not happy than to go, okay, I need to make a change.
And can you take us to that point in your journey where you said, really, yeah, when did it happen? Because so many people have this point that they are sick or they get depressed, have a burnout or whatever, like an aha moment they have. When was your aha moment?
So for me, it was a few things. That a relationship that I was in ended, or separated. My business partner and I, we weren't getting on. That separated. So there were so many endings happening, and I just thought, this is a sign. Like, there's a reason why these endings are happening. Like, what does it mean? So when these things were happening and they were ending, it made me look at closing a lot of things. So walking away from the business relationship and walking away from a center, walking away from BNI, it made me think, let me walk away from all of that, and somehow I'm going to figure out what the next move is. And I kind of did. I mean, I think everything ended literally at the end of January of 2019. And I think in the 1st of Feb, my mission was, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something where I'm going to help people make small shifts. That's why I put my company Shift 1 Degree, because it's literally the small things you do every single day that get you closer to where you want to be. So yeah, that's how it started. It got to a place of knowing that I wasn't happy where I was at. And then when things started not working and they started ending, that's such a sign. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, it was a sign. It's like, okay, it's not working. It's time to move on. Yeah.
And did you do it all by yourself? Sorry.
No, go, yeah.
No, did you do it all by yourself, or did you also have mentors where you learned these skills? Because you said you came from the health industry. It's not likely that you just become a coach and have the right answer or have the right questions, no?
Yeah, no, I mean, I went and studied Mark Steinberg conscious coaching, so I became a coach. I had mentors, I had coaches. No, I had a lot of guidance along the way. But I think the big thing is you have to want it. You've got to really want it, because you can have all these people to help you, which is phenomenal, but you still have to really want it, because it's so uncomfortable. Making a change is so uncomfortable. It's so hard. It really is, you know? So yeah, I think it was the build-up of all these years and thinking, okay, where to now? And it's interesting. I don't know where this journey's taking me. Like, I don't. You know, I know I'm meant to be in the personal development space, but I don't know what that means. I don't. Like, if you had to say to me what's going to happen in the next 5 years, I don't know. I really don't know. You know, because especially now with everything changing, everything now has become online. So coaching that I used to do face-to-face, not so much now. It is more online. So yeah, I think actually so many doors open.
And how do you know? Because you said change is so hard. There is this, I would say, phase where you don't know where it's going. You're searching, and that's where you help as well. You help me as well. But when is the point where you know, okay, I'm on my way? You said you haven't finished yet. You haven't arrived yet. But you say it's always evolving. So when can you say to people, because some people say always, when is it there? When is it there? And I say, I don't know.
I don't think you're ever there. I don't. I think life is like it's a continual learning journey, and I don't think you're ever there. I think it's a process, but I think that there's little signs along the way, and I think it's the little signs like, you know, just by doing the podcast. When I go to certain places, now people will say, "Oh, I've seen your podcast," and then they start getting interested, and you start growing your audience, and you start getting known a bit better, and you start you start growing and expanding the audience. And I think it's that. I think it's a feeling. It's a feeling. Like I knew when I was in fitness and I knew when I was at a center, like I knew it had a ceiling. I knew I was so, by the time I left, I'd ready to leave probably 2 years before that. But with this, I'm still discovering where this is going to take me.
And how is it when some people come to you? So first of all, who do you coach? From where are they coming from? Which background are they coming?
So I would say, definitely it doesn't matter where. It could be anywhere in the world. The one common thread with everybody that I work with is that they are people who want to put in the work, who want to make the change, who are prepared to do whatever they need to do, are committed. So it's almost like we're the same. I attract people like me. I think that's inevitably, I think our target market is people like ourselves, because we attract people like ourselves. So I attract people like me. So working with people like me is great because, they're committed, they're conscientious, they want to make the change, they want to put in the work, and they're not victims. They're not going, oh my gosh, they're going, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? So there isn't, I don't know if that answers the question, there isn't a specific mold, and it's just people who go, what do I need to do to make things better? I need to make a change. Yeah.
And it makes sense, because if there are people who are like you, so you know them very well, you can guide them better. Yeah, right. And so what is the secret? How do you see the potential in people? So they come to you blank and say, I want to change my life. How do you work with them?
Well, the first place that I like to always start with somebody is, what is your reason? What is your driving force? Like what is your purpose? Why do you want to do something? Like what is the reason? Because it's obviously, we know it's never about money. That's just a byproduct. There's always a deeper meaning. And I think what's so interesting is when you first start working with somebody, and I know that you've experienced this, but when you first start working with somebody, they say, okay, this is what I want X. And it's like, okay, so let's kind of unpack what that is. Like, what is that? What feeling are you looking for? Because if you can unpack what the feeling is the person wants, so they want connection, they want community, they want some kind of feeling. And then with that feeling, you go, okay, so what does that work? How can you take that and make that into a business? What does that look like? So for me, that's how it started. It's like, what is your driving force? What is like if I think about, say, Yes, for example, who I do some part-time work for, their underlying tone of value of purpose is they want to eradicate poverty. Like that's what they want to do, so they want to go in, they're based here in Capetown, but they've definitely gone more global, especially now. They've got another branch in the UK, but they literally want to go into these underserved people, underprivileged people, and empower them, not give them handouts, not give them $5,000, not give them food. They want to empower them. They want to they've got programs where the people sign on for 9 months. By the end of the 9 months, they're working towards something. So their mission is to alleviate poverty. That's huge. My mission is for people to find out what it is that they want to be doing. Like what makes you tick? Like why are you doing whatever you're doing? Is it something that absolutely excites you, that moves you, that drives you, as opposed to having that sort of mundane, especially now with this whole lockdown, life is so short, it's so precious. And if you get into this mundane, I've never been in a mundane 9 to 5 personally, but I'm sure if you're in that, it must be really tough to do that.
Yeah, and that's what you brought out of me. You made like really I felt it like really tickling when we found this. Like inspiration is my thing, and also connection with the people, and being everywhere in the world. That it's still this big umbrella that's over all, and then you have to find your way, and with the guidance like you or someone else, no? And then you come closer and closer and closer. And now we created Inspiration TV or whatever. Yeah, so there are so many things coming up, and then you're on your way. No? If people are, also if everything falls into place, as people say it, but it's magical if if it happens. No?
Yeah, with continuous, I think if you ever get to a point where you think the work is done and you don't need to continue, I think you're just deluding yourself, because I think it's like you get to one thing and then it takes you to one thing and then it takes you to one thing, but it's never like, okay, it's all done now. Like, you just don't get to that point, There's always some growth to do, always, I believe.
Mm. And like, I also like people, if people want to work with you, so what are the steps you're doing? So you say, okay, they find the feelings and what they want to have, and how does it continue then?
Invariably, so somebody will come to me and they'll say to me, I want to make changes. I'm not quite sure where I want to be. I'm not quite sure if my career is the right one. I'm just kind of needing some clarity, just in life in general. I'm not a relationship coach. I'm not a divorce coach. I'm not a money coach. So that's not my thing. Mine is around, what do you need to work within yourself in order to make those changes? So let's say you're in a job and you're like, I'm not too sure about this. Then what I would do is we would have weekly sessions for an hour, and those sessions would be around, what is it that drives you? Like, what is it that you do love? So if you're in your job and you don't like your job, but you love working with people. So what is it about that? Like, what is it about working with people? So what is the feeling that you get from that? And then you get that feeling and it's like, okay, so how can you use that? Like in the case with you, with inspiration. So how can you use that? What are your platforms? Can you do coaching? Can you do podcasts? Where can you take that? And then using the avenues on how you can generate that into a business. And the thing is, with things like that, it's very hard to put a time frame or a timeline into it, because you don't know. Like, you don't know. I mean, I can't say to you, okay, in 3 weeks' time, you are going to know exactly what it is that inspires you and how you can make that into a business, because it's not about me telling you, it's about unpacking stuff. So every week we're having conversations and we have these aha moments, but it has to resonate with the person. So if you have an aha moment and you go, oh my gosh, it resonates with me, I get it, fantastic, we can move forward. But if it's not resonating with you, you can't, as you know, you can't force it. It's something that you just have to keep unpacking until, and I know you and I have had this, like, we unpacked it and we got it. And it was like, okay, now trying all these different avenues with that, because what does that actually mean, So, and it has to be for the person to come to that point of going, yeah, okay, that resonates. Yeah. Now, where can I take that? And what can I do with that? And that's another journey,
And really resonates, no? As it really needs the feeling. So if it's like, and this is, I would say, use strength to do it, to say, really, is it really resonating? Is that what you want? Because sometimes because you're on your way and you think, oh yeah, not too bad, I could do this, and then you are directly asking, is this the way? Do you want it? And they say, yeah, perhaps not. So this is really good.
Powerful, because you're not having somebody who is if it's a friend or a family member, it's jaded. It's very hard because it's a different relationship. But if it's somebody removed from that, they're able to ask you the honest questions, and for you then to sit there and think, and there's no agenda from my side, because I've got no kind of relationship with that person. So I'm purely going from a place of curiosity. And would that really work? Are you sure? So yeah.
And like, what kind of advice would you give to people when they are in the phase of change now, or they want to change? What is the first step they can do if they don't take a coach directly? What would you advise?
So the first thing that I think is to sit up and think about the things that you absolutely love to do, whether you're getting paid or whether you're not getting paid. Like, something that I really, really, really love to do is I love to feed people, and it's not a social change. It's nothing massive, but I love to feed people. So, and in Africa, there are people here that don't, that there's not money and people aren't getting food, especially with the corona and the lockdown and things like that. So I really enjoy, it's such a silly thing, but I really enjoy getting loaves of bread and kind of dropping off loaves of bread. I kind of really enjoy doing something like that. It's something that I really like to do because I really value food. And so because I value it, I think it's a necessity. So it's something nice to do. So I think, well, how does that equate into everything else in my life? So I suppose if you look at the basic things, if you have free time, if you are going to do something you're not getting paid to do, what is it that you like to do? And what is it, the feeling that it gives you that makes you want to do that? Does that make sense? Because for me, that's a starting point.
Because that's an interesting thing. You first start, what is it and what do you feel? But it doesn't have to be the thing what you are doing as a business later. It's just you have to extract the feeling or what makes you happy in with it. And then the thing is what you do always, you tie it then into something that is, giving you that feeling, but it's the same, but it's bigger. And then you think the people bigger, right? In a bigger
because
vision.
if you don't take that particular thing, then you are not going to live your full potential.
All right. Okay.
Because I think there's always going to be something missing. I think you become very robotic if you're not fulfilling whatever that thing is. Whatever that thing is, you need to actually fulfill it in order to feel fulfilled, you know? That's what I believe. And
what is your vision for the future?
Well, for myself, what I really, really, really want to do is I want to be doing a range of things. Like sticking always with personal development because and continuously developing myself. But I love doing my podcast. I love doing the coaching. I love running networking groups, and I love doing running workshops online. I want to do more training. I kind of want to continue everything that I am doing, but I would like to generate more business on a global scale. So I would like to have more clients globally. That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Let's speak English. I'm sorry, but I only speak English. That's just a bit of a problem. But yeah, to work on a global scale with people all over the world, doing more coaching, I think that would be great. And even doing group coaching, you know, but that would be ideal. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
You never know. It's a spontaneous moment, but perhaps we can build up an international coaching thing. At the moment, we can't come to Capetown because that would be the bigger vision, to bring people from Germany to Capetown, have a seminar with you, and also visiting my heart project, Zip Zap Circus School, where they bring black and white kids together through circus, and also doing personal development. So wherever it should be like a big vision that we bring people there and bring it together. But you never know. Let's discuss this after this show. What can we do online to bring people together with our two expertise? You never know.
Yes.
Okay, give me just some short answers. What is life for you?
A choice.
And to find your vision, you
stand in discomfort.
Okay. And courage is for you?
Being uncomfortable with uncertainty.
In my life, I was inspired by?
It's an interesting question. I can't think of a person, but what I do is I listen to a vast number of podcasts, and they're all on people who have overcome extreme challenges, literally got to rock bottom and then found their way back up again, famous or not famous. But it's people who are resilient, people who go, you know what, it's hard, they've fallen down big. Maybe they've been doing drug taking in athletics, something like that. They've gone to prison, you know, big. And then they've come back and they've gone, you know what? I made a mistake. We all make mistakes. And they've come back. And that for me is like, wow, that's resilient. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. And is there still like a saying or a wisdom you always keep in your heart or so where you follow?
Trust the process. It's my biggest challenge myself. And it's something that I keep reminding myself is to trust the process, because there's always a process. And sometimes when it's very hard, you're like, this is so hard. And you just got to go, you've got to trust it. You've got to trust it's going to work out the way it's meant to, for the best, Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much, hey, for sharing your story and just, letting us dive into your life. And I will just put your website under this show, and then, perhaps people come to you as well, or we do something together. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.